Hello Clash fans, Trample Damage coming at you today with the most amazing army in the world. And I know it doesn't look like much, it just looks like a Hydra army, but the key is right here in the giant arrow for the Archer Queen and the spiky ball for the Barbarian King. Of course, once you enjoy this video and love the content, subscribe to the channel and check out all my other social media, but we're going to dive right into what is honestly shaping up to be a pretty amazing final day in Legend League. I don't even know how this happened. I have 7 attacks. I started the day at, what, 5770-ish? 5770? And I have 7 attacks against me without a single 3-star. 2 of them are 1-stars. I have not seen this for such a long time, but I'm not going to share the base on this one because I got this from somebody else and I had said that I wasn't going to wind up sharing it. So I will just say C-Man hooked me up with this one. He's one of the best attackers I've ever had a chance to play with. We are, however, going to show you this Legend Day that I'm having, which doesn't look too dissimilar from a lot of my Legend Days recently. I actually was on a 45 triple streak above 5,600 and change in trophies. We're going to dive in and show you the army real quick. We've got Queen with Giant Arrow and Healer Puppet. We've got King with the Spiky Ball and the Vamp Stash. I am using Diggy on the King. I am running the Jelly on the Warden, but the jury's still out on that one. Double Tome, and of course the Royal Champion is using the Spirit Fox along with the Hog Puppet and the Haste Vial. It is a very, very powerful setup, and we are going to go ahead and just dive into some of these attacks. We're going to show you my Legend attacks and then talk through. The first one was Jack, this one here. Okay, so general gist is to start the attack with the Archer Queen firing her Giant Arrow, put the King to her side, put the Dragons, Dragon Riders, and Loons next to him on the opposite side of the Queen, drop the Warden, smash a bunch of stuff, Rage, Blimp the Town Hall, Overgrowth, because it's all about funneling, and then eventually the Royal Champion where I put the Overgrowth. Now the first thing I'm looking at when I pop these attacks up is I'm looking for my sweepers, and I will make my 8th Legend attack live here at the end of the video, so stick around for that. I am going to go, I don't like coming against the air sweepers, but that's what's so nice about having the Giant Arrow. You can pop an air sweeper, and if you miss with the Giant Arrow, you can still use the lightning spells. In this, I would normally come behind these air sweepers, so I'm guessing what I did is probably came from either the top or bottom side. I don't know that I have a preference as to which I would have come through because it's a similar setup on both sides. So I probably came from the top here just because I tend to come from the right-hand side if I have the choice. So ideally, I'd fire the Giant Arrow through these here, hitting the Spell Tower and the Builder Hut, and then lightning on the Spell Tower to be able to take out the the Sweeper and the Spell Tower. But we will see where, and this is a pretty quick attack, so you can see here, I'm only at, hurry up here, when the attack going to start? 3, 2, 1, I'm clearly thinking a lot about this one. So we got, and I didn't watch these to remind myself where, okay, so there we go, Queen, okay, so I'm targeting something a little different. You can see we are trying to get the Spell Tower. So we hit the Spell Tower, cool, and between a Giant Arrow and a pair of lightning spells, you are able to get a Spell Tower. So that's one of the best things you can do, especially on the side away from where you're coming in, because the Eternal Tome is going to protect. So this is the army. We go right after that. King to the left to her side, Dragons, Loons, Dragon Riders, Warden, and then Overgrowth. And honestly, you look at what I Overgrowth here, I got 1 air defense, an X-bow, and a mortar, and a bomb tower. So like 3 things, it's a ground X-bow, 3 things that cannot hurt my air troops, and an air sweeper. And I'm not doing it to disable the defenses. I'm actually just doing it to create the funneling, because you can see the Archer Queen is cutting this side, the Overgrowth spell is cutting that side. All my Dragons, Loons, and Dragon Riders are going to head right in toward the core. I go ahead and send in a Blimp. I'm usually using all 3 of my Rages between the edge of the map and the Town Hall. Grand Warden's Eternal Tome. I have 2 more Rage spells. Sometimes I'll use one on the Town Hall, but I try like I did here. I try to put it to where the Dragons, it's a Dragon Rider and 5 balloons in the Clan Castle. I try to have the balloons touching the Rage, but also be able to cover some of the other troops that are still out there. And I do have 1 Rage spell left. A lot of times she'll hit the Tornado Trap, and if that happens, of course, you'll wind up needing to spend a freeze. And my 3rd Rage, it looks like I dropped right down here, and everything is looking pretty good. At this point, I bring the Royal Champion in where I deployed the Overgrowth spell. So the Royal Champion is going to come in here on the backside and start working on these defenses. Royal Champion, where are you? Get the bomb tower. Where's my... There she is. I did try a war attack recently where I sent the Royal Champion in on a different side, and it turned into a 99% time fail when my king got torched by a single target tower that my Royal Champion would have handled. The monolith is scary. If you're given an opportunity that is relatively equal on two perspectives, and one has the monolith... Now, I did trigger the ice golems. Oftentimes, the dragons will take out the clan castle before anything is triggered, and that's because of this Root Rider meta. There's a heavy ice golem presence, but sometimes they come out. They don't really cause many problems for the dragons unless you hit them early on and the dragon riders separate from the dragons. That's usually the only problem. Now, the king has yet to trigger his spiky ball. This is what I love so much about the spiky ball. The dude has so many hit points. He's been on the map the whole entire time, and he's barely got any hit points missing because of the hit points that he has on the spiky ball plus the vamp stash recovering. When I get down to 91 or 92% of the base left, I will wind up triggering the spiky ball, take out the rest of the buildings, and, fun fact, it will hit troops or heroes that are still left on the map, and it softens up a lot of the storages that are left, takes out some of the defenses, softens up the storages. It's a super powerful attack, and we're going to go ahead and just dive right into the next one. We hit Jack. This is a DK hero. Okay, perfect. I'm probably coming from this side because when I always come on a box style base, I'll come behind the town hall on this side here, and there is a sweeper that would be facing my dragon, so I will be targeting that sweeper. Now, if I can get that sweeper, I would also be trying to get this poison tower. So, and I am going to do a giant archer or a giant arrow tutorial video. If you draw an imaginary line from the poison tower through the air sweeper, you could probably, through this gold mine right here, hit that air sweeper and damage that poison tower, then using 2 lightnings on this poison spell tower to take that out. We will see if that is what I ended up doing. Almost always I wind up coming from the bottom or the right. You know, the right-hand side I always feel much more comfortable attacking from, probably because I'm right-handed. I'm selecting troops with my left hand, and I am trying to line up my Archer Queen right now. There we go. Okay, so we went ahead and fired from the corner, and it looks like we got the sweeper, but we missed the poison spell tower. So I probably should have come at this if I had gone through this gold mine. I probably would have been able to hit that poison spell tower as well. But then the same shenanigans ensue. We did get the sweeper, so I can hang on to the lightning for single target inferno towers. We got 3 single target towers on here. Oh, I remember this attack. I think this inferno tower locks onto my king, and I used a freeze instead of the lightning, and I think I just dumped the lightning somewhere up here. But so we've got king came in, all the dragons, all the loons, all the dragon riders, plus the warden, overgrowth on the side here. Enemy barbarian king is sometimes a pain for the royal champion, so I will often use a freeze spell or a poison spell on the enemy king. And we'll just go ahead and go in 2x speed. Rage spell, use the Eternal Tome, froze the Town Hall here. I do freeze the Inferno Tower instead of zapping it. I don't know where I put the 2 lightning spells. Raging right away. I am very aggressive with the rage spells. I very seldom hold on to them past the initial portion of the attack. So Royal Champion comes in here, battling the enemy king. We did poison him, trigger the Hog Riders, and this is a very common setup where the Royal Champion is coming around the outside on these box bases, meeting up with the king and the queen, who are both frequently still alive on that side of the base. You can see all 4 of the heroes are still up. The king, I don't know when he triggered his spiky ball, but all 4 of my heroes are still up, and this base is absolutely crushed and gutted. This was against ADK. Hopefully we've got some... I want to get some diamond bases in here as well. So the ADK here, let's try Sinner 2 and see we've got... Oh, cool, box or diamond base. So, sweeper facing the town hall, not a problem. This is the one we want to get. Normally on these setups, I will deploy the queen off to the right-hand side here. Again, you could do it through here, but I'm right-handed, and this sweeper's closer, so it's easier to aim. Stuff that's closer to the giant arrow point of origin is easier to hit. I would have considered also getting this spell tower if I could deploy her, like a line through this poison spell tower, through the air sweeper would drop off somewhere around this army camp. So I might actually try that. I'm usually using the 30 seconds I have prior to the attack starting to think about if I can get my #1 priority. If I can get a sweeper and damage a spell tower so that I can then zap the spell tower, or if a sweeper is right next to a spell tower and I can just hit the spell tower and then use the lightning to destroy the sweeper and finish the spell tower off. One thing I will say, just be careful on the lightning for the spell tower. If there's a builder hut near it, you need to be very quick because it does not take long for a builder hut to heal it out of range. I'm guessing Archer Queen on that army camp? No, okay, so we'll see here. She's gonna come through and hit. So we got spell tower, we got a sweeper, and we did not hit the other spell tower. So I'm wondering if I would have dropped the lightning, or I saved the lightning. I was probably aiming for this spell tower, but that's okay. So we've got king, we've got dragons, dragon riders, and balloons. I wind up deploying them in the order of dragons first, then balloons, then dragon riders, then the warden with his angry jellyfish, and then the overgrowth spell. Part of the reason why I'm liking now, when you have poison tower early on, I usually will use a slightly earlier tome. I think I missed the town hall on this one, actually. I'm not sure. But I like the Angry Jelly because it'll keep the warden targeting the stuff that the balloons and the dragon riders are targeting, instead of potentially getting hung up with the dragons themselves. So let me see, did I miss the town hall? I think, oh no, the balloons are going back in. One of these attacks, I think I missed the town hall. And it is not this one. They got it pretty early on. So everything going according to plan. The Royal Champion is going to spend some time up here working through a lot of those defenses. I do have a baby dragon that I use to help clean up. And let's see where my king's at. My king is hammering away down here, fighting the enemy barbarian king. And because of the vamp stash, he is recovering a ton of hit points. And then what we'll wind up doing is, normally I get in here. Oh, I might... Let's see, when would I want to use this? 82%. I would want to get inside and get these buildings, so I might trigger it right after destroying this dark elixir, or the dark spell factory. Just because I don't necessarily always wait until there are only 9 buildings left. Sometimes I like to fire it in there just to get through. Nope, looks like I'm just sitting on it, trying to be cute. But when you get down to 91%, you can, of course, just use it, and it will wind up hitting the rest of the buildings that are on the map, which it looks like, I'm guessing... Spiky ball, yep, right away. So the spiky ball is so powerful. Some of those buildings have been damaged already by the giant arrow, and the spiky ball will finish them off, because a spiky ball plus a storage, when they're both maxed, because I do have a max spiky ball plus giant arrow can take out the dark elixir storage as well. Which one did we just look at? We looked at center 2. Okay, another centrally located town hall. Now we've got sweepers that are on the outsides here, and we want to catch them. We can come from the side and get both of those sweepers. I'm going to let this play out because I'm in the middle of thinking right now during the attack. So I'm probably... Oh, which way would I come in? I can't get a spell tower and a giant arrow unless I were to be coming in from a side over here, which I never like to do because it's just setting the queen in the middle of a line, and I'd rather have her on the side. So I'm guessing I'm going to come straight through here with the giant arrow, and I'd probably rather face the monolith on the way in, knowing that the dragons might be able to take out the clan castle, and it would keep... Yeah, because the king would probably get hit, would probably trigger that. So I'm guessing, yep, there we go. Ooh, Archer Queen. Okay, perfect. And that's one of the things I'm going to show you guys how to do in my giant arrow tutorial. A lot of times, like, I wanted to line up through this elixir collector here, but she needed to destroy these 2 buildings first. So let's see what we got. We got 1 sweeper going down, and we did get the 2nd sweeper going down. So I'm going to hold on to those 2 lightning spells. And again, king, dragons, dragon riders and balloons, warden, blimp, trigger the tomes, rage again near the town hall, usually rage off to the side, and then we triggered some clan castle troops, so we're going to drop the poison there. Dragons and dragon riders doing their thing. Royal Champion comes in from behind, ends up taking out a lot of those defenses, and the king is just battling through the core there, hasn't used his spiky ball, triggers his spiky ball. I probably did, yeah, it didn't look like that was forced. I just triggered that to soften up some defenses. All those defenses are down, saved a couple of free spells for the Archer Queen to work through the enemy king, and this base is just absolutely gutted. This army is so good. That is Twisted going down. Let's see what else we got here. We had a pretty decent setup, a couple of different base layouts, so that's good. Okay, the first time I tried this, I saw this base new for the first time a couple days ago, and I ended up coming in on the bottom side here, and I ended up time failing, I think, or... I don't remember. No, this was a single target tower, I think, and it ended up gunning down my king toward the end. But my thought here, I do remember this one because I think that was from this morning, was to come in with the Archer Queen from the back, dragons through here, overgrowth this side, so that way I could deal with these this compartment right away. But I wanted to trigger both sets of invisibility spell towers. So I wanted to be able to damage this X-bow and something in here to be able to trigger both of the invisibility spell towers. So what I was trying to do right now mentally is aim the Archer Queen. So I was probably thinking I could come through maybe right outside this workshop or on this elixir storage to be able to damage some of the buildings that are being covered by the invisibility spell tower, just to trigger both of them. That's one of the best uses of the giant arrow, is triggering the invisibility spell towers. So yeah, we're going through the elixir storage. So as soon as she gets through the workshop, you can see she doesn't have to move. I was able to line her up exactly where I want her. She's going to go ahead and fire her giant arrow. We damaged this X-bow. We also wind up damaging... Oh, we didn't damage the other X... Oh yeah, we did. Okay, we hit the other X-bow. Triggers both of the invisibility spell towers. King coming in, dragons, dragon riders, loons. Overgrowth spell covering almost nothing important, like an archer tower. But because those invisibility spell towers had been covered, we're good. Unfortunately, we did draw the clan castle troops, but this is where I missed the town hall. The blimp got a little bit out of range from the Grand Warden's Eternal Tome, but because of the structure of the base, it's naturally designed to funnel things right toward these individual compartments that subsequently wind up popping the invisibility spell tower, and then the troops scatter from there. So on this one, everybody just kind of splits, carves out the middle, Royal Champion coming up on the top side, and I wind up putting in, you see my baby dragon there to help clean up. Baby dragon's very quick to help clean up on the back end. And we have King already used his spiky ball. Archer Queen still around. Did the king get killed? Oh my gosh, the king got knocked out. But triple damage, your king got knocked out. 3-star against this base. This is the second time I face this base. It seems like it's a pretty complex one because you can't hit necessarily both of the spell towers, or you can't get a sweeper and both of the spell towers. I love attacking this layout. Anything that has these giant island core type of things with multiple spell towers in there, I know the giant arrow is just going to absolutely decimate them. I think I don't like starting on the clan castle side, so I'm probably coming in over here, even though I probably want to hit that sweeper because this one would not be a problem. So I'm guessing Archer Queen starting out through here and getting the king down as quickly as possible to start taking fire from either the Archer Queen or the ricochet cannon. Oh, there we go. Queen through, yep, getting that sweeper, triggering both spell towers, and then zapping the further invisibility tower, knowing that my dragons would come through. When I do these bases, one of the things you got to be careful about is the possibility that some of the dragons could stray down here. So if possible, I like to wait just another moment before dropping the overgrowth spell. That way some of the troops are potentially looking that direction before they head down. And then we can, of course, trigger the Warden's Eternal Tome. We are raging to move quickly through here. And now because the Archer Queen took out that air defense, everybody's going to head back toward the core. Rage for the town hall, sometimes a freeze, and everything looks like it's in good shape. You do want to keep an eye out for single target Inferno Towers. Of course, they are dangerous to dragons, as is the Monolith. The Overgrowth spell wears off, and I went ahead, and I don't know why I used the Rage there. I think I was figuring, hey, help the dragons take some of that stuff down, and the Royal Champion will get in there faster. But it was kind of unnecessary, I think. A couple of dragons and some dragon riders in the core, along with the warden and the jellyfish, which I think he pops somewhere right around here. I think I remember seeing his body on the ground after this attack. Royal Champion coming through on the top, fighting some of that stuff. I did have a bunch of skeletons and witches, and they kind of split a little, tried to poison some of those. Trigger the archer. Oh, poor jellyfish. He did pop right there. Trigger the Royal Champion's ability. Taking out some skeletons. We've got the Monolith down. And, of course, we have another triple against Sir Javi in Alma Fuerte, which is, I don't know, but Fuerte means strong, so I'm strong for defeating him. The last one before we make a live attack against a gentleman. Oh, cool. Another diamond base. We got a pretty good structure of bases today. We got some box bases. We got some some centrally located town halls, and we've got a couple of diamond bases. This one looks like it's going to go down pretty quick. We're going to go ahead and obviously come in through the side over here, trying to hit both of these air sweepers. And a perfect world, I'm probably right now checking to see if I think I can line up straight through here to hit both sweepers and damage that poison spell tower. That would be my guess at what I'm aiming for. And ideally, ooh, I don't remember this attack. Oh, no, I did not. Oh, I was going for it, but I was coming at a different angle. Oh, this is what practice does. Like, even right now, I'm not seeing the angle on it, but I know I wasn't worried about that sweeper, but I definitely wanted to get that poison tower, damage the poison tower, zapped it right away. That's one of the things you got to keep an eye out for. A lot of times I'm zoomed in really close to drop the queen, then I have to quickly zoom back out, switch to my lightning, and drop the lightning spells. But you already know how this goes. King is down, dragons, loons, dragon riders, overgrowth. We can go ahead and speed through this in 4 times speed, which means it'll take 15 seconds to watch. Town hall's down, rage spells through, royal champion coming in. King is up, queen is up. King has not done anything yet. Here, I think maybe I'm going to wind up jettisoning I think that's what I did here is when I get this elixir storage down, I think I popped the spiky ball so that it'll head in toward this wizard tower. I think I was watching, yep, right away to trigger that, just to make sure it would hit some of those defenses, although we were basically at 99%, or we were at 91% anyway. So, great army. I will show you one of the things that happened recently in war that I wind up recommending we don't do. Is this the one where I ended up doing all 3 of my attacks like right at the very end? No, it's not. But I have been doing really well with this army. It's been working well in war. Oh, I looted. That's why. That's one. It's a good army. I wasn't losing out there, but I did have, four triples there. Then I decided to loot in the war that we had yesterday, though. That's one other thing I will show you just really quick. This one attack that I made, I brought the royal. It was the one non-triple that I had yesterday. Yeah, this one here. Oh, nope, replay number 1. Well, let me go here, show that again. Trample damage, replay 1. I tried something different where after deploying my Archer Queen and my arrow and everything where I would normally do, I overgrowth up here, but instead of saving my Royal Champion to come in on the top like I would normally do, for some reason I was like, you know what I'm going to try? I'm going to try sending my Royal Champion in with the Archer Queen, see if that helps and goes any faster. And it was a terrible idea. It did not work out for me. Normally I would send it on the backside and my Royal Champion would have carved through all this stuff, including that single target tower, but she ended up running out of gas before she got over there and ended up failing. So that is something that is, I'm sticking to that same general gist, always coming through on that backside. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for hanging around. It was a longer video. I hope you learned something. This is a great army. It does need a giant arrow to be maxed, though, because that max giant arrow plus 2 lightning can take out a spell tower. You don't have to have the spiky ball with the king, but it is a very, very good combination because it helps him sort of soften up some of those defenses on the inside that are left over, and when sometimes the cleanup for the base becomes a little bit difficult. But I really hope you enjoy the video. Make sure that you're subscribed here. Check me out on check out my podcast. I forgot to mention my podcast, Inside Clash with Trample Damage. I love my podcast. It's my favorite thing that I wind up putting together as content. I hope you guys enjoy it as well. Make sure to follow me on the rest of my content, share with your clanmates, and we will check you guys out on the next video.